What were our expectations going into this movie?
I thought this was gonna be the best movie ever, to be honest.
Really?
I thought it was gonna be good.
I-
I didn't have like super high expectations, but I thought it was gonna be
I-
as good as the first one.
I had some pretty high expectations. I just watched the first one last week to get ready for this.
How did you like that one? Just a
It's
brief.
fucking bop. I feel like I Jake Spider-Man Far From Home to myself, where
Yeah.
I was expecting the moon. So, what do we feel like we have more of, positives or negatives?
Definitely positives.
I'm gonna refrain from answering that question.
Okay, so I guess we'll start with the negatives then. Does anyone care to start off with their hot take?
Hot take: didn't like the movie that much, and
Ooh.
as a whole,
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
there was nothing scary. I felt like the stakes were, kind of, just there. I didn't like. I don't know, the whole pacing of the movie. It's really, really long for one, which isn't a bad thing about a movie. But when I don't really care, I cared about the first one. I liked the first one. I just 7 or an 8. I didn't really have that in this one. I feel like the acting is way better, and the story suffers a lot.
I think I was thinking this towards the end. It's really funny. Like,
Yeah.
the movie overall is funny.
Even the stuff that's supposed to be scary is funny.
And I don't think I want the It movies to be funny.
Yeah.
Well, the first It gets pretty goofy with some of those scare gags.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
they should
but they're
be
not.
like in
th-
like
that's
that,
the
like,
stuff I didn't really.
I think it should be more like one of those things that's so scary it's kind of creepy to look at. Like
Like when
ha.
like when he was the spider. Like
Yeah.
when
It's
Stanley
like,
was the
look
spider.
at this, isn't it so funny? And you're like, no,
No.
this is deeply disturbing. That's the kind of like,
Yeah.
that's what I feel the horror should be in It. It should be comedic horror where it's like, you start laughing and then you stop laughing very suddenly because it stops being funny at like a very just like bullet
I think
point.
the pinnacle scene in this movie would be when she's at the lady's house and she's like naked and running around.
Yeah, that was
And then
funny.
she
That wasn't
transforms into,
scary.
like a huge monster.
That
with
is probably the-
wobbling breasts.
Yeah,
that's the
I-
best description of what you're talking about, but it's also in the trailer because they knew that.
Yeah, and then the rest of the movie doesn't really have that. I didn't even like that
does.
scene that much.
I'd
That's
say,
the thing.
I'd say it does. I'd say it has that, but like the problem with a lot of the sequences are the same problems that you get in the first It, which is that the CGI
Terrible.
is
Oh my god.
almost good.
Yeah, I couldn't. I looked at Mud and I'm like, the effects are kind of bad, huh?
Hey, I'm so happy I can't see the Uncanny Valley as well as most.
I
people can,
didn't
'cause
like-
it. Looked fine.
Yeah, I didn't
What's
like a
funny
lot of the
here,
effects.
like a lot of the CG looked good. Like with the It character itself, they manipulated the face a little bit. That looked genuine, probably because they had a real model to work off of. But like anything that wasn't actually there in the scene, like a giant monster,
Mm-hmm.
all that seemed very, very off. The problem is, in the first It, this was the case as well. But there were only like maybe 5 or so things that
There's a
he
lot
turned
in this
into.
movie, yeah.
This movie, based on the doubled super duper budget and the runtime, they just doubled down on.
Wait,
all
they
of
doubled the
gags.
budget for this movie?
I don't know if they doubled
It
it.
does
but
not
it,
look
They
like
at
it.
least got an increase in the budget.
Yeah,
It does not look like it. It
every
looks
other
just as good
scene-
as the first one.
yeah. Every other scene was just those things.
So
Yeah.
I get what you're
I
saying.
felt like it was a little bit. I didn't like. So you know how in the middle of the movie where they're going to get all their stuff and then there's flashback, regular thing, flashback, regular thing. It felt very samey at one point,
Yes, I
agree.
agree.
and I was like, okay, but I want to move on with the movie. I
It
want
could
to
have
see
been really chopped down. I think.
like this movie could have been 2 hours long.
I think this movie suffers from a lot of changes it had to make for runtime because we're talking about the runtime. This movie could have been a lot longer. We were discussing this on the way home. They cut out whole subplots about Bill's wife, Beverly's husband, all these things that they had to leave on the cutting room floor when they were adapting the second half of the novel, which I get, but it does kind of leave the story feeling a little disconjointed, especially towards the end, where it just feels like it's like, oh, it worked, haha, gotcha, it didn't work, oh, it worked, haha, gotcha. Like, it did that
Yeah,
2 or 3
twice.
times, I think.
It did it twice. Yep.
And a lot of like, if you look at like the 6 main characters, I think what's interesting here is that they all have arcs, but the downside of that is that the movie
They're all pretty fast. The
Well-
arcs are fast, and the movie's 3 hours.
yes, but also the movie is just exactly that. Like it's 3 hours
Yeah.
long because you kept everyone having an arc in there, and if you cut it down to like an hour 30, hour 40, 2 or 3 people that have arcs.
See, that gets into the problem I have with the first It, which is probably the only negative I can say, is some of the kids feel really forgettable.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'd say Stanley, Eddie, and Mike feel really forgettable.
Stanley's
first-
so forgettable.
He's
not
not
in the
even in
movie.
this one. I
Yeah,
was just
Stanley's
about
so
to say
forgettable
that.
they killed him.
Yeah.
That is
No,
one
and
scene.
he's
Scene
also
one.
Dead.
well, he's not even dead. They were like, boom, mystery box. He's alive at the end.
It's
No,
not
that
alive.
was he was alive at the end. Those letters were.
He mailed them before he died.
Yeah, he's
Did he?
definitely he's
Yeah.
definitely dead.
Oh.
He committed suicide.
Ha,
He said
I didn't get
he-
that.
Well, if you
I
listened at all, he very
No, I
clearly is like,
heard
I'm
the
writing
note.
you because I'm gonna commit suicide so you can defeat it because I'm not
See,
going
I
back.
thought that was a fake out that he wrote Mike before and then all that, but
No, because
Then
he
it
took
wouldn't have
himself-
worked.
He
He
took
was-
himself off the board because they all had to be together. so
Yeah,
if
he was like, it needs to be everyone there physically present, alive, otherwise it won't work.
Yeah.
I can't bring myself to go back, so I'm just gonna kill myself.
Okay.
Because if I'm,
I'm
not
just gonna kill
alive, I
myself,
can't
yeah.
be there.
Wait,
Okay.
if everyone except Isaiah and Mustafa killed themselves, he could just do it.
Yeah.
yeah.
In theory, yes.
Sorry,
Oh,
it's a
fucking
really
glaring
dark,
plot hole.
It's a dark, easy path to go to.
Yeah.
But you know, so is suicide.
Look,
so-
Ben worked way too hard for those abs to kill himself.
Yeah,
It's
I
true.
agree.
He deserves to live.
Yeah.
My only real big negative, because we're gonna switch to positive soon, I hope. But like, my only real big negative with the movie is the third act, and that would be
Yeah, I don't really like the third act that
the
much.
big climax moment when it's running toward, I think, 3 or 4 of them, and they're like, "What do we do?" And then
You're a
it
clown.
There's
says,
more than one way to make it
Oh my
small.
God.
Well, it says right after "What do we do?" that he says, "You're gonna die," which reinforces to the audience, "Oh, it can hear them talk." And then Isaiah Mustafa 1 second later goes, "What if we make it think it's small?" Why would it not then go, "Oh, they're going to fool me. I better not let them fool me"?
Yeah, that bothered me.
Why did it
That
just
bothered
let that
me.
happen?
The rest of that sequence bothered me too, because they
I-
were like, "You're a clown, haha, fuck you," and it was like, "This sucks."
Yeah, if you look at like it as a character, he's pretty smart in these 2 movies.
Yeah.
He's not stupid. So why would he be so freaking
Well, I mean, he could have
gullible?
killed them like
So
15
I
times
think,
over. But
if I can,
Yeah.
devil's advocate, because I kind of,
Mm-hmm.
I like the idea, but I don't like the execution. The Pennywise seems to sort of feed off of their fear and their mentalities.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's more than just literally feasting on them physically. It's a
Yep.
mental thing.
Yeah.
And he's mentally linked to these kids. So it's their fear of him that's making him big. So if they finally are able to conquer their fear of him, he'll become small. Good idea in execution. I agree, or a good idea in concept, I should say. In execution, I agree with you because he goes, "What if we make him small?" It's like, okay, but Pennywise
heard
is
that.
like you said, Pennywise
Yeah.
is smart enough to fortify his mind against that.
Or at the very least, just stab the guy who said that.
Yeah,
Or
because
stab
I kind
all of them.
I kind of felt like that was implied throughout this movie and the last one, because there's a lot of scenes in this movie and in the first one where Pennywise just toys with them, and I'm like, just kill them.
That pisses me off so much.
But I think it has more to do with like the mental link, where he kind of has to get them to a point where he can kill them, if that makes sense.
No, it does.
Well, no, but then he wouldn't have been able to kill Eddie. Because
but-
Eddie was like, "We did it, we won." He was like happy. He wasn't scared. He was like, "Fuck yeah!" And then he just
Well,
killed
he can
them.
still injure them. He just can't kill them.
But he
killed
basically
Eddie
killed them.
Well, Eddie bled out.
But that's a cop out.
I mean,
Fair
it's-
enough.
It's just strange that like exactly what you're saying, where it's like,
I think he could have won in like 15 minutes into the movie.
He could have absolutely won. Like, there's so many times, and in the first movie, there's a lot of times where I'm like, just
just kill them.
eat.
They're
Face,
children.
Eat.
Well,
Face
like-
in whole.
the idea is that like it is well fed enough because he kills so many freaking kids or one sustains him a long time. But like he likes to play with his food. I get that he likes to play with his food. That's cool. That's
But when they're
interesting
about to
watch.
defeat you, don't play with your food.
Yeah, if they say out loud, we just have to make him think he's small. You don't just stand
Yeah.
there and then go, "I'm an eater of worlds." Like, what are you
That's
doing?
stupid.
Yeah,
I didn't like that.
It really took all the
Mm-hmm.
fear out of him. Like, it's cool to overcome the fear and defeat him, but when it's like, oh yeah, he's not actually scary at all.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
Yeah.
no, we're defeating you in spite of the fact that you are fucking terrifying.
Yeah, that's silly.
Also, can I just I got one more negative, I guess.
Sure.
Richie. I guess he's implied to be gay and in love with Eddie.
Yes.
I can't say I really enjoyed that because it felt like it went nowhere. Because Pennywise is like, "Oh, are you gonna tell them? Are they gonna know?"
And
I'm
then he
like-
says nothing.
and then nothing
Yeah.
happens with
If
it.
he said something about it when
Yeah.
they were like around the circle, like
But also, when it happens, it feels more like it's like, wait, does Richie know something that they don't that could help them defeat the monster? Because why else would he be saying this to him?
yeah.
Also, Bill Hader could have been like Pennywise. It's 2016. It's not like a bad.
That's
thing.
another
Um,
thing. The movie takes place in 2016, and
Yeah.
he's like 40.
Yeah, he should embrace it at this point.
Movie takes place in 2016. However, at the 2016 beginning of the movie, where those guys viciously assaulted and tried to drown that gay man.
Fair. In the
Still
Stephen King
2016.
universe, there are plenty of
Still,
terrible-
there are
is-
still plenty of bigots, but Bill Hader is a famous stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
I think people would like
get behind that
no.
or kill him.
No. I'm saying no, like they would know.
They would figure it out.
He's
Well,
gay.
if it's
Oh.
only speculation, he's never dated anybody like that. Then
Fair enough, but it still feels like something that he'd be more okay with himself
Yeah.
at this point. Because even back in 2016, there was a lot of acceptance. That was after the Supreme Court ruling that made
Yeah.
gay marriage legal across the states.
Yep.
It feels like, I don't know if that's in the book, but if it is in the book, that's something that should be taken away.
Like,
Because
I get if he's like traumatized from like being bullied, like severely bullied as a kid, like stuff like
Yeah.
that. But like
but he doesn't remember that.
he is like in his 40s. He should be able to like just tell at least this group of friends.
Yeah. Also, Ian makes a good point.
He
doesn't
wouldn't
really
remember. He doesn't remember his childhood.
Like one of the things they bring up is the fact that does that mean he doesn't remember that he's gay?
I forgot.
I don't remember him gay.
Whoops.
Like no. Fucking.
That'd be really funny.
I just wanted them in the most crucial moment of the movie to go, "It's okay, I'm gay," and that would have been
Hey,
great.
calm down, Kevin Spacey.
It would have been fucking hilarious.
Yeah, so I don't know if I really enjoyed how they handled that arc.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
I just wish he said something to them about it, because
Yeah.
it would have like been that self-satisfying moment of, "Oh, haha, Pennywise can taunt me about it," and then that would have been one less thing that he could use against him, and it could have factored in. But
Yeah,
no,
or,
don't do
like-
anything with it.
yeah, it felt like something that they wanted to explore more, but they ended up dropping.
Yep.
Yep. No, but you have to keep those 17 same scenes of them discovering things.
Yeah. Also, they played "Angel in the Morning" for like 5 seconds.
Oh, that
really,
fucking part blew.
really weirdly. It's not the worst thing ever, but it just
Oh, it was the worst
full
part
stop.
of the movie.
You go, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah, I think that was the worst part of the movie because it was like a funny gag moment in like a scene that was supposed to
It
be
gets
tense.
back into my point of like the horror isn't horrifying. It's
No.
funny.
It's a lot of gross shock humor.
Haha! If you squeeze this hard enough, "Angel in the Morning" will start playing.
It's a lot of shock. There's more shock factor than actual horror. I didn't feel like anything in this movie was scary. Some things were like, "Oh, it's gross," but there was nothing scary in this movie.
Well, what's
Yeah.
weird too is that this is the second time that "Angel in the Morning" was played during, like, ironically during shocking scenes. Like in the opening of Deadpool, it's everyone getting murdered and it's slow motion, and that song plays, and it's like that's the same effect you're channeling with it with the
That's
same exact
I was
song.
literally like, okay, calm
Yeah.
down, Deadpool.
That's
Yeah,
what they're doing.
They're trying to be ironic and like kind of parodying something silly like that.
Okay, calm
but
down,
while
Blumhouse.
keeping
Like,
it in there, like
It didn't need to do that
Yeah.
though. Like, it made $700 million at the box office
just keep the
from
core
being
simple
a
values.
pure horror film.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just do it again, but you know,
Do it again, but with older people.
With
Keep
old-
the child elements in there, and then make it good at all.
And it's weird too because, and we're transitioning to positives because I have a lot. To talk
I have
about
one
this.
more negative.
Oh.
Again, soundtrack. The whole soundtrack was bad. Every horror movie has the same violin
I wasn't paying attention
dun
to
dun 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 soundtrack, and I just don't like it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I agree with that on that point. Transitioning to positives based off of the thing prior, it keeps the same tone and style as the first It, and I'm really glad that it didn't just completely jump shark. If it weren't for all that weird, too much comedy in this movie, I think it would be the kind of tone and style of a sequel I'm looking for in It.
absolutely.
Yep.
Right now, it's almost that. You know what I mean? Like, it's close to being that, but it keeps, whenever I get close, it just pulls away. Here's a funny joke. Here's Bill Hader spouting some stuff that we wrote down earlier.
Bill Hader. I just don't like hot takes in general. I get that you need a comedic relief,
Yeah.
but nowadays movies just have it be like
Every character's comedic relief.
every time there is a serious second of film, there needs to be 6 jokes.
Yeah, I
don't
don't like
like-
that.
And also, like, what did we all feel about the Stephen King meta joke about his endings and, oh, no one likes them?
I didn't like this ending, so good job. Good
Yeah.
job,
There you go,
movie
Steven.
writers.
Good job.
You predicted it.
Yeah,
Wait,
they
no,
predicted it. I
It's
don't
a
like
little
it.
dimmer in here, Mud.
No.
They fucking
Hold
talk
on, let me turn the
Let me
light
go
off.
find a fucking PNG of a lampshade.
Honestly, there are things that I really do enjoy. I really like one of the opening scenes of the movie where we're looking at Stanley's character when the phone rings through the bottom of the puzzle. Ooh!
That transition
That
was
was
beautiful.
Super amazing transitions.
I was
Really
like,
noteworthy
what the shit?
transitions.
Oh my god.
That was one of many, too. There
Yeah,
were some
when
really good
Eddie
ones.
was in the pharmacy and it matched his eyes with the kid eyes, and then it slowly. Which, by the way, Eddie and Freddy, him being the fucking character in Shazam named Freddy, I was getting fucked up. I was like, I kept calling him Freddy, and I'm like, no,
Did
it's
call him
Eddie.
Freddy a couple times.
And I was like,
God, it
son
is
of a
fucking
bitch.
Eddie Freddy. Oh my
Yeah.
god. Didn't even realize it was
That's
a
just
fucking
me
Shazam
being
kid.
stupid and picky.
No,
I
that's
don't,
funny.
I don't not like that, but at the same time, I'm like, fucking damn
So
it.
like another good example. Sorry.
Oh, do negatives again?
No. I'll save it. We're past negatives. I'm not
No,
gonna
what's
talk.
the negative, Mud?
Henry Bowers felt like he served no purpose in the film. He shows up twice. One time he stabs Eddie in the mouth.
I think he served a purpose. I just think his scenes were too short
What was the purpose then?
to terrorize,
Terrorize
them.
them, yeah.
I guess. I
But-
just feel-
I liked his beginning with the balloon and he's going crazy. And he
Yeah,
gets
Yeah.
that was
like
really,
that.
really good,
It
actually.
set it up really well, and then he has like another scene, and that's it.
he stabs
scenes.
Eddie in the bathtub, and then he goes to attack Mike, and Richie kills him.
Yeah.
I
That's
feel like
it. I was like,
use
oh.
more of him, and I say that in the movie that's almost 3 hours, but
Yeah,
that
he
scenes,
could
those
have been
scenes
like
were
a
cut
really
down.
good antagonist.
Yeah. Even just like a weird roadblock. As they tried to find their things.
Like,
where
yeah,
is
have
he?
sometimes it be it.
Because
sometimes
he
it be
terrorized Richie when
Henry.
he was a kid.
Yeah.
No, but make Paul Bunyan there instead.
Paul Bunyan. Yeah.
Like he could have been a more pivotal part of the movie. I agree.
That's another thing too. Paul Bunyan, like I'm looking at this movie, and that's like the 4th or 5th or 6th time there's a giant CGI monster attacking everyone, and it's just like, oh my god,
That scene was so fucking funny, and it shouldn't have been funny.
It's weird how like it's one of the few R-rated movies like Matrix or Deadpool that gets a really high budget for VFX, but it's still straight R.
It doesn't use
You know what I
doesn't.
mean?
I would say that this doesn't use them effectively.
Not really. I mean, I like the CGI blood dripping upward. That's cool
That's
and
really
everything.
cool, yeah.
Nice motif,
But you can do that practically.
I think a lot of the cheesy CGI horror bits in it were shaded in darkness as
This
to hide
is
the
a
bad
lot
CGI.
brighter. Yeah.
A lot of the CGI was either in daylight or lit rooms.
Yep.
I didn't really like that. It showed all the flaws of the CGI that weren't quite there.
Do we have any positives for this movie?
Yes, I'm
The
sorry.
acting.
Yeah. No.
acting's phenomenal.
Most of the acting's actually really, really good.
Jessica Chastain.
Oh,
did a really good job as
James
Belvery.
fucking McAvoy.
Our
He's
boy,
so good in everything.
Kevin Wendell, James McAvoy.
Oh, Mud, just turn into the beast. You can break
When
the
he's
glass.
trying to break the glass to save the little kid, I leaned over to Ian. I was like, just turn into the beast. He could break the
Dude, I
glass.
almost pissed myself. That was great.
Bill Hader, for as much
I
as
liked
rag
Bill
on him,
Hader.
he was probably one of the better actors in this movie.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He very, very good.
I
Bill
liked
Hader was
the guy
great.
who played Ben.
What was
Eddie
his-
was pretty funny.
Eddie was good. I liked a lot of the main cast. A lot of the side characters were just there. Even Pennywise was just kind of there.
I think Pennywise was more interesting but less intimidating.
Yeah. And that
Which makes sense because it's like, we beat you when we were 12. Calm down, Pennywise. But, like,
but they're still afraid this whole
They
time
should-
too.
yeah.
So it kind of contradicts with the whole we should
it's,
be afraid of this thing, but we beat him when we were
I
children.
think the best way to
so.
describe this is a mixed bag.
I do not have a mixed bag. I know I know how I feel about
very
it.
mixed bag. Does anyone have anything else to add?
We talked about one positive. I feel so
Let's
bad.
talk about a couple positives.
I
Yeah.
really do like the filmmaking. I like the story. I like the way that they brought everyone back. I liked how it was just the same kind of phone call scene, but each one was a little bit different. A little bit different. a little
Hi,
bit
it's
crazier.
Mike.
This
Mike
guy
from
crashes
Terry.
his car.
It started the same way every time. It's Mike.
It's
Who?
It felt a little samey, but at the same time, I still appreciated
Well, I
most
like
of
the
it.
sameness of the beginning, and I like how each scene variationed a little bit. So, like, one guy crashed his car, one guy threw up, Beverly has to leave, and then you see the domestic abuse. I wish there was more character-based stuff like that.
Instead of big CGI running around ugly.
Exactly.
No,
It's
I feel
the
you.
same kind of criticisms I have with a lot of superhero sequels, where it's like, oh, now it's just a big CGI fuckfest.
Thought this movie was going to be a lot better than it was.
I am inclined to agree with that statement.
Like I thought it was going to be on par with 7 or 8, and I have a number, and I have in between numbers that are not 7 and 8.
I'd rate the first one like a 9 or a 10. You know, really, really up there.
Mm-hmm.
I was expecting this one to be an 8 or a 9, and Jake.
I don't know. I've talked about it. I went into this review with the number 6 in my head, but I think a lot of the points you brought up here and more talking about it, I'm feeling more towards a 5. I'm like kind of halfway on it.
Ian.
4. I was going to between 4 and 5. I didn't really like it. It's fun. You can watch it. It's not like it's terrible. I don't know if I'd watch it again, actually.
I'm going to agree with Jake. I'm going to say 5.
Right in the middle somewhere?
It really is a step down from the last one. I'd still say go see it if you're a fan of the first one.
Yeah, do whatever you want.
Yeah, it's the conclusion.
At the
There's only
very
2 of
least,
them.
to end the story.
Yeah.
All right, so go see It Chapter 2 if you've seen the first one. Catch you next week for a thing about a thing.
It Chapter 2, more like Shit Chapter 2.